Quite a number of industry insiders say behind every successful K-pop song is a writing camp that seeks to bring together a diverse group of talented artists from here and elsewhere to create works that appeal to a universal audience. So who are the artists partaking in such songwriting camps? How do they work together to ensure productive collaborations? And what are their thoughts about K-pop's broader prospects? Welcome to Issues and Insiders. Behind a large number of popular K-pop songs are writing camps where artists from around the world come together to make music, if I may. For more on this practice, I have hip-hop artist Jez Dior here in the studio. Jez, it's a pleasure to have you with us.
It's such a pleasure to be here.
I also have singer-songwriter 12 AM with us, and you have told me that I can call you 12.
Whatever you wish, but yeah.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Right, Jez, let's begin with some details then about the songwriting camp that you are partaking in this year, including its purpose and perhaps a little bit about its participants, including yourself.
Yeah, so we're lucky enough to be able to be here and participate in the song camp with Aid Made, which has been more than I could ever wish for. The company's taken such good care of me and the other artists, and writers that are here, and we've just been working every day towards our goal of getting a bunch of songs by the end of the camp for certain K-pop acts. And so there's writers from America, England, Canada, and here, all writing together to work for one goal, and that's just to get some K-pop cuts for some of the biggest K-pop acts.
How many songwriters are we looking at the camp this year?
I think there's been 10 plus throughout the whole camp. So yeah, there's been quite a few of us. Some have come and gone, and some of us have been here for the majority of the time, just depending on scheduling and stuff. But yeah, there's been an amazing group of writers pretty much the whole time.
Right, so more than 10 songwriters within a time frame of about a month at this camp, I see. 12, you already have a very strong fan base over in Canada as a singer-songwriter, I'm aware. Could you tell us about your decision to partake in this particular camp?
Yeah, it was a no-brainer. I mean, I've always wanted to come to Seoul and see Korea, and they emailed me, and I've had a lot of successful songs come out in this year with my songwriting, and I wanted a new challenge, and it was perfect timing. And I got the email from Aid Made, and we hopped on a Zoom, and I just said, this is a no-brainer. I want to come. I'll stay for as long as you guys want me. And we've just been making a song a day, and it's going so incredible. And everybody loves the music, and I'm learning so much, creating some of the best friends too. And I consider these guys family at this moment, and it's been unbelievable.
Right, and Jez, what was your decision to take part in this camp, in this songwriting camp based on?
I mean, when the opportunity arose, like he said, it was a no-brainer. There was no thought in my mind that like maybe I didn't want to do it or I did. It was just like I wanted to be here. I wanted to learn about the culture and K-pop and come to the city. So there really wasn't much thought in it. I wanted to go do it. And you know, K-pop is not only in Korea, it's worldwide now. You know, K-pop is one of the biggest genres of music in the entire world. So for me to be able to partake in something like this and create K-pop for, you know, some of the biggest artists was just, yeah, like he said, a no-brainer.
Right, and staying with that, Jez, it's been said that these song camps are largely behind the success of K-pop itself. Are such camps also common over in the US, would you say?
Yes, there are song camps all the time in the United States. I think that the way that songs get pitched to artists and record labels in Korea is slightly different than they do in the United States. So I think that these song camps here, specifically in Korea, are very important for the production of music in this country. And it seems like the way that you know, the music gets streamlined straight to the record labels and everything through the song camps is very important.
Right, I see. 12, do correct me if I'm wrong, but it appears that quite a number of hit songs in recent years appear to be the results of creative collaborations among a number of songwriters. That being said, would you say that this is the modern music making trend, so to speak?
Oh yeah, I mean, in Canada, in America, and here, you really, to create the best song, you need a bunch of people that are really talented. Sometimes, you know, it's one or two people can create a song, but most of the time, if you get a lot of incredibly talented people in the same room, you're gonna leave with a lot of amazing music. So that's definitely the trend, and it usually always works, and it always pushes you to make even better music and more music, and you learn a lot too with collaborating. So I'm a big believer in collaboration and meeting new people and that. But yeah, it's definitely the trend.
Right, good to know. Jez, songwriters at the camp, I understand, spend about a month together. Now, earlier on, 12 was talking about making a song every day.
Yeah.
Keeping that in mind then, how many songs have been produced over the period that you've been here thus far?
So I think within the camp, we're over 60 songs now. Yeah.
Over 60 songs.
Over
in a
60
span
songs.
of about 3-4 weeks then?
Yeah, and I mean, that just is, you know, an attest to the creatives that are here and how fast everyone's able to work, and the quality of music hasn't dropped down creating that many songs, just because everyone's so talented, and they specifically pick people to come with their own strengths, you know. So myself, I've done hip hop for most of my life. 12 is amazing with pop, and then there are some writers in the camp that are strictly K-pop and R&B. So everyone has their own strengths. So putting everybody together in this way has been extremely successful.
Right, and staying with that, Jez, critics claim that you are a master of breaking molds. How do you respond?
I mean, that's an amazing thing to say. I've always, my whole life, tried to make music without being put into a box. So I grew up with my dad playing, you know, punk music and rock and roll, and I fell in love with hip hop from an early age. And my mom's taste in music is very different as well. So I grew up in a household filled with different music, you know, and so I've always had inspiration from many different artists, from Nirvana and Oasis to Eminem and 50 Cent, you know. So I grew up listening to tons of different music, and I've always tried to portray that in my own music, and you know, never put myself in one genre.
Right. 12. Meanwhile, what would you say is the defining trait of K-pop, and how does this compare to your own style of music or creativity, so to speak?
Yeah, I think, well, from what I've learned, I'm still learning, but from what I've learned and heard is that the thing about K-pop that's so incredible is there's no boundaries. It's every genre of music in one song. So there'll be a part where one of the members are rapping, and then there'll be a bridge that's they got a group of harmonies and everyone's singing, and then the beat will change, and so it really makes you like sit down and you have to be able to rap, sing, do harmonies, all that, and it's honestly the most, in my opinion, the most talented form of music, because you have to be able to do everything. And then on top of that, these K-pop groups need to be able to perform and dance and do the music videos. So it's awesome. Like, I love writing it. It's so much fun. Like, we'll be in the studio for hours and hours, and just everyone will be laughing and having a great time. And sometimes it's stressful because you want to finish the song, but it's fun to do. Like, I love it. I absolutely love it. And then when you make a great song, you can go out and celebrate in this incredible city. So there's so much to do. So you make a fun song, and then you go celebrate, and then you get right back to it again. So it's awesome.
Right. Jez, Matthew mentioned some of the stress that you would come across in making music. And that being said, what are some of the challenges, perhaps, of creating K-pop with a cohort of very talented yet culturally different artists from around the world?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, certainly when we first got here, there was a bit of a learning curve that we had to, you know, learn about, just because the way of making music back home that we're used to is different, just in the sense that in K-pop there are a lot of stacks and harmonies in songs, like much more than we would typically do back home. And the structures of the songs are slightly different than back home, and the way that they want the vocals to sound and things like that. And it was just a learning curve. And once, I mean, to be honest, after the first day and having conversations with some of the producers and other songwriters who have done K-pop for a long time, we were able to grasp it and learn pretty quickly. But it certainly is different, and it's been a fun learning experience.
Right. Yeah. And 12, can you tell us a bit more about your personal experience at the Songwriting Camp?
It's been so much fun. Like, I've made so many good friends. I've had some of the best nights of my life. Like, this city is insane. Like, I love it so much.
And this is your first time here in Korea?
My first time here, and like I was telling the company, I said I want to move here because all the people are so nice, and the music we're making is so great, and but we're having an amazing time at night, partying. It's been so much fun, so it's hard to leave, really. But I just learned so much and had so much fun, and I could keep it going for a long time.
12, tell us a bit about your first encounter with K-pop. I don't think I asked you that earlier on. Yeah,
my first encounter with K-pop, I had a friend that wrote one of the BTS songs, and he came to Seoul for about a week, and he told me all about it, and he sent me the music, and I was listening to it, and I was like, this is incredible. Like, I want to make this type of music. And then very shortly after, I got the email, so it was kind of like fate. It was kind of like, whoa, that was crazy. And then now it's kind of, I find myself listening to it a lot more and just really loving it. It's just such incredible music.
Right, and staying with that, I believe 12 called on you to join this particular songwriting camp. And what has your experience here been like?
I mean, it's been the time of my life. I can't lie. Like, I have made lifelong friends and family within this month. I mean, the amount of time that we're spending together, and not only just the songwriters and artists, but also the company. Like, I consider all of these people my family now, just because we've been together and created such incredible things over the last month or so, that these people have been, they're like my family now. And not only to be in the camp, but to be able to experience the city and the nightlife and the fun things to do during the day and the food. It's been incredible. It's been an amazing experience.
Is there a K-pop group that comes to mind particularly when I ask you about your interest in K-pop?
I think for me, probably my favorite thus far is NCT 127. I just like them. Their music's very hard-hitting and fun, and I can relate to it a lot, so I think they're probably my favorite that I've listened to this far.
And 12, what's your favorite?
And it's hard. I got to meet a couple of the members, and that was really cool. He said NCT 127, I love them. I think EXO, I love them. I think they're incredible. Obviously BTS, NCT Dream is really good too, and aespa is amazing. I don't know, it's just, I'm taking it all in. I love it all. I don't really have a favorite right now, but I listen to a lot of EXO for sure.
Right, I see. 12, what are your plans with regard to K-pop then, beyond this particular songwriting camp?
With K-pop?
For sure.
Just keep working and keep writing, and I'm gonna do way more. We have a listening session where they play all of the music we've made to all of the labels and stuff. We have that tomorrow. I'm really excited about. And then, I think in 3 months I'll come back to Seoul and continue making more music for everyone, because I can't get enough of it. It's so much fun.
Right. And Jez, simply speaking, what place would you say does K-pop hold on the international stage, and what are perhaps its prospects going forward?
I mean, I think right now specifically, K-pop is growing, and I don't see it stopping anytime soon. Like one of the biggest American rappers who just sold over 1 million album sales in his first month, Travis Scott, the first single on his album was called K-pop. And we have worldwide artists like Bad Bunny who love K-pop and who promote it, So I think that there's only room to go up, and it's already such a big thing. They are playing BTS and Blackpink songs in the United States and in Latin America, and to see that is amazing. And I think that the only way to go is up still, just because it's such a cultural movement. And I don't think that there's any way that it slows down. And so for me and for 12, we're so happy to be a part of it at this point when, I can only see it going up from here.
And this is a question I asked 12 earlier on, but Jez, in your thoughts, that is, what is the appealing trait of K-pop, do you think? Why the global popularity surrounding this music genre?
I think it has to do with, first and foremost, the music. The music's very catchy, right? So everything that's why when I was talking about how it's structurally different a bit than the music back home, it's almost like everything in K-pop is kind of like a chorus. So throughout your song, you have very many catchy parts. And then also it's the visuals and the theatrics and the dancing, and it's almost like, you know, there was a craze when there was the Backstreet Boys and NSYNC back in the day, and everyone, you know, they would chase them around in the streets and stuff, and it's almost like K-pop is bringing that back. And there's a reason why everybody loved Backstreet Boys and NSYNC and boy groups and girl groups, and I think with K-pop becoming worldwide, I know it's been a big thing here, but it's sort of bringing that back to the world stage.
Right. 12. The words of wisdom are that music speaks a global language.
Yeah, of course.
That being said then, would you say that language was a barrier during the camp, or was that simply not a problem with regard to making music?
For regard to making music, no, it was never a problem. I think you're right, where music and the melody is what speaks to everyone. So you could be in any part of the world and you could hear a catchy song and you can hum it back because the melody is universal. So when we're making songs, we're focused on coming up with really cool concepts, producing really good music, and then having the catchiest melodies that everyone can sing, whether you speak the language or not. And then for K-pop, they'll translate some words, and then maybe they'll leave some English words in, which is really cool. But no, there was never a barrier at all for making the music. And we had the awesome people at AidMade with the translators if there was any problems. But I actually have found that a lot of people in Korea speak good English too, so I found there was no, and I'm trying to learn as much Korean as I can. So
when did you start? Did you start the camp, or
yeah, I started like I'm not there yet, but I can say some words. So
right, good to know. What about you, Jez? Are you learning Korean?
I'm trying my best. You know,
it's a difficult language.
We learn about a word a day, maybe a song a day and a word a day is the motto.
That's great to know. 12. Are there any words of advice, perhaps, that you would care to share with those who hope to create K-pop in the future?
Oh yeah, I mean, we live in a world right now where everything's at your fingertips. So if you have TikTok, if you have Instagram, and you can get yourself a little setup at home, overnight your life can change. So if you have like a dream, anyone can do it right now. So it could be tomorrow morning, could be your viral moment. So make as best possible music as you can. Focus on just posting TikToks and growing and also love it too. Like you really gotta love what you're doing, because if you don't love what you're doing, it's really hard to be happy. So make that the focus, that you love it, and just keep going, because it can happen at any moment for anyone. And I firmly believe it, and I've seen it happen so many times for myself, for Jez, for so many of my friends. It just happens when you put the time and effort and you love it, and also always be a good person too. Like there's a lot of not so nice people in the world, and if you're a solid good person and you just love and spread positive energy, everything will work out. So.
I would have to agree with you right there. And Jez, I understand you started writing songs at the age of 13, and keeping that in mind, what are your words of advice to those who hope to walk the path that you're walking? I
mean, certainly a lot of the things that he said, like it's very true that your life can change overnight with the tools that social media and just technology have provided us, you know? So, I mean, you have to graft, and it is hard work, and you have to practice your trade. And like you said, I started at 13, and from the age of 13 to 18, I basically made like a song every single night in my bedroom, just practicing and practicing and practicing until I got better. So, you know, practice makes almost perfect, because, you know, I don't know if a song's ever been perfect, but that's objective. But, you know, practice and practice, put in your 10,000 hours and work, and just carry yourself in a good way and respect other people and treat yourself and others right. And I think that that's what will set you up for the best chance of success in the music industry.
Right, and on that note, I'm going to end this edition then. Jez, as always, thank you so much for your time,
Thank you so much.
Good luck with your future endeavors.
Thank you.
As well as you 12. Thank you so much for your time.
감사합니다. That's the word I know.
Right.
Thank you so much.
Well, that is all the time we have for this edition of Issues and Insiders. Thank you for watching, and be sure to join us again next time.